want a compact crossover but think that the EcoSport is a bit overrated and you don't exactly trust her vol reliability, Mitsubishi might have the answer for you. Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be having a look at this 2016 Mitsubishi ASX 2.0 GLS. It looks funky and aggressive and it comes very well equipped. There is a catch though. Congratulations to Admire Maricopo for correctly identifying the rim of the Alfa Romeo 159, one of my personal favorite wheel designs of all time. Would you like to be mentioned in my next video? All you have to do is to make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and tell me what car this wheel design belongs to using the comment section below. Be sure to identify both the make and model. Let's see who knows most about cars. A really big thank you to the accommodating, thoughtful and helpful staff here at ASJ Motors. They have a huge selection of quality used cars located in 2 locations in the Overberg region. One is in the industrial area of Hermanus, the other is located on the main road of Verliesdorp. They are open for business, so be sure to check out their catalogue, link in the description box below. The ASX is a compact crossover made by Japanese manufacturer Mitsubishi. It is also known as the RVR in Japan, Canada and South Korea. Although we only got the ASX in 2010, it is actually in its 3rd incarnation, with the first 2 generations being compact MPVs rather than small crossovers. Our test unit is fitted with a 2-litre naturally aspirated inline-4 petrol engine that produces a decent 110 kilowatt and 197 Newton meters of torque, enough for a sub 10 second 0 to 100 kilometers an hour time. Styling wise, I really enjoy the design, particularly from the front. It reminds me a lot of the Mark X Lancer Evo. Its headlights are really aggressive and the grille makes it look angry. In profile, it is much more vanilla. The diamond cut alloy wheels definitely adds a bit of flavor to it. The rear is quite derivative, but neat and unimposing. What is the interior like? Step inside the ASX and you're greeted with a very simplistic, rather dark cabin. Now at first glance this might seem a bit dull, but you do have the benefit of everything being placed exactly where you would expect it to be. However, other cars have ergonomically sound interiors and they don't have cabins that are quite this bland. There is an interesting touch though, the font that can be found on the climate controls as well as dials. Now I don't know who was in charge of this, but I don't think they should have that job anymore. This is a funky crossover SUV, yet the font belongs in an old Rover 75. Fit and finish is very good though. The panel gaps might not be the smallest, but they are consistent. Build quality isn't too bad either, with the only loose thing in this example being the center armrest. Use of materials is good too. Soft touch plastics can be found on top of the dash as well as the doors. There's a generous helping of piano black plastic trim as well. The remaining materials are on the cheap and scratchy variety, but I can definitely forgive it for that considering the ASX's price. Let's take a closer look though, starting with the door panel. Well, it is a bit dated if I have to be honest. It is a very simplistic design devoid of many swoops and curves, and it's very dark, with the little shiny trim you do have feeling a bit cheap. The same can be said about the switchgear. It just feels and looks as though they belong on older vehicles. The armrest is padded though and wrapped in pleather. The door pockets are of a good size and you get coin compartments integrated into the door's grab handles. The doors are on the light side, but they close with a solid feeling thud. Mitsubishi must have spent the majority of the design budget on the steering wheel. It looks great, premium and upmarket. I love how the piano black plastic trim extends to the lower part of the steering rim, and the subtle silver detailing. The buttons feel premium too, but there's a bit of a disconnect between the bank of switches to the left versus those on the right, as though they weren't designed by the same person. The steering column is adjustable not only for rake but reach as well, which definitely helps to make up for that. The stalks feel cheap though, and they're a bit confusing to understand at first glance. As you own the car though, you will definitely get used to it. Have you ever wanted to feel as though you're sat in an old Rover or Jaguar, but you're actually in a Japanese crossover SUV? No? Well, too bad, because that's what you get here. It is actually very reminiscent of an older Jaguar XK, particularly the full color drives information display with digital fuel and water temperature gauge. The analog dials are really easy to read though, and said screen comes very well equipped. A comprehensive trip computer, customization options, service information, vehicle settings, and outside temperatures all at your fingertips. It is controlled via a singular button that says info on it, which I find quite amusing. Similarly amusing is the infotainment system. Considering the age of this car, this system is a cut below the rest. The graphics are quite pixelated, it isn't that responsive to my touch, and loading times aren't exactly the shortest. You don't get any physical shortcut buttons either, with the exception of the menu key. It does come well equipped though, with Bluetooth audio, USB input, and a CD player, and there's a volume dial as opposed to annoying volume buttons. The standard fit sound system on the other hand is alright, if not quite great. The climate controls, however, is foolproof. 3 dials, one for temperature, one for fan speed, and one for air placement. It is an excellent setup, I love it. The seats, on the other hand, are a bit of a mixed bag. They're a bit too firm, and they don't provide excellent support. They are heated though, and the driver's seat is 8-way electrically adjustable, which is amazing for this class of vehicle. With the design out of the way, let's talk practicality. Storage solutions in the ASX are really good. The well-dampened glove box is of a big size. You get a tray area below the climate controls, a singular massive cup holder, which according to Mitsubishi aren't for cups, 2 cup holders that are for cups next to the handbrake, a massive space underneath the multi-tiered center armrest, big door pockets, and the aforementioned coin compartments. That is more than enough for most people, if not quite class leading. Get in the back and things are alright. There are tons of knee room and foot room is plentiful. The problem I do have is with headroom. My hair is brushing up against the headliner. This is mostly due to the panoramic sunroof though. Models fitted without it perform much better. Storage solutions are very disappointing though. There are no door pockets and only one rear seat pocket. You do get 2 cup holders integrated into the drop-down armrest though, and the windows are a decent size, giving kids a good view out. The boot is extremely impressive though. It is 442 litres big. That is bigger than most of its rivals. Not only that, you get a grocery hook, 4 tethering hooks, a full-size spare wheel, and 2 storage compartments on either side of the boot floor. The rear seats fold completely flat in a 60-40 split, but interestingly this creates a dip in the loading floor, which means sliding things in won't be a problem, but getting them back out might require some ingenuity. Thankfully there's no boot clip, and the boot opening is a nice square space. So far, so practical. What is the driving experience like though? Starting with driving around town, the ASX performs quite well. All-round visibility is good, the turning circle is tight for an SUV, and the controls are light and easy to use. As standard on this GLS model, you get a reversing camera and rear park distance control. That, combined with the small size of the ASX, makes it much easier to park than you might think. The engine is also very well suited to the urban jungle. It has heaps of low down torque and the clutch feels progressive. It is also strong enough to do some lane weaving during rush hour traffic. Out on the twisties, and considering this is just a humdrum crossover SUV, the ASX impresses. The steering is a bit too numb and light, but there isn't too much body roll in the corners and the engine feels strong. The gearbox is quite fun to use as well. Out on the open road, and the ASX performs quite well. Road noise and tyre roar is present, but the suspension is quite comfortable and the engine is barely audible. That's thanks to a very well spaced 5-speed gearbox. At our national speed limit, the engine only runs at 3000 RPM. One issue I do have though has to do with the seats. They are just a bit too firm and don't provide a great amount of support. Out here at least, I think I would be more comfortable in an EcoSport or a Haval Jolian. Speaking of rivals, the ASX finds itself in a very competitive segment locally, with a host of rivals to choose from. There is the Ford EcoSport, which has great engines and a better built interior, but its boot is smaller. Then there is the Haval Jolian. It has an amazing interior and upmarket exterior, but Haval reliability is still up for debate. The Renault Duster is another great option if you would like to appear more bitch, but the interior build quality isn't the best in class. There are many more to choose from, so be sure to shop around. When it comes to reliability, the ASX performs alright, if not quite as good as I was expecting. Mitsubishi as a brand placed 13th out of 31 manufacturers in the 2019 What Car Reliability Survey, but the ASX placed in the bottom quarter of its segment in 2018, which isn't exactly stellar. Bland interior aside, I think this is an excellent offering from Mitsubishi. It is practical, it has some odd eccentricities, and it's filled to the brim with character. There is a reason why the EcoSport is so popular though. It does quite a lot of things a bit better. Either way, you won't be disappointed with your purchase. Well done, Mitsubishi. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It makes a world of difference to my channel. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe and get notifications of upcoming car reviews. I have loads more coming up for you guys, so stay tuned. If you own an ASX and you would like to share your experiences, please use the comment section below. I would love to hear them. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time. Bye.